you're super famous and it would help my career to be working with you, but you also have a ton of money. I'm meeting you at your Malibu mansion and you're asking me and my little Toyota to come and work for you for free? No.
Can you make a short film for no money?
You can totally make a short film with no money in this new world of you have an iPhone in your pocket. But also, and I don't think the camera is the most important thing whatsoever, but you have a phone in your pocket you can use. Also, I guarantee you, you know somebody who has a more expensive camera that they are not using that weekend and will lend it to you. Bartering is the best thing in the world. If you have editing skills, you know somebody who wants to make a film, say that I will gladly edit your film for free if you come and shoot my film when I'm ready to make my short film. If you, bring your camera, I will then do your edit. So barter your skills with other people. That's one of the things we have to offer, that we don't need to be paid. We really can, our time has value and we can offer that. Our skills have value. But if you make a film for no money, you have to realize the kind of film you can make with no money. You're not going to be able to make something that is a knockoff of a big studio film. However, if your day job is doing special effects for a big studio film and you have access to all that equipment and you can use it for free on the weekend or whatever, maybe you can make something that's crazy impressive because you have access to this equipment that other people who have to pay hundreds per hour to get somebody to do it wouldn't be able to do.
So then have sort of a like-minded network of people where you can switch off and do different tasks for each other.
And be open to working on other people's films too. I can't tell you how many filmmakers want to make a short film and have never worked on anyone else's film, especially among students. And it's like, go on somebody else's set, help them out, and then learn what they're doing wrong. Shorts are a learning experience for everybody. See, and then you say, oh, I'm never going to do that. Or, you go on and work on a set and you realize, this is a big waste of time, or they had too many people. I never forget, I met a filmmaker who made his film at school. He had 50 crew members on his film. And we were all like, 50? What is that? It's ridiculous. It's like, we were at school, everyone was willing to help. It's like, well, I would never use 50 people on my film. But, in his case, it made sense for him and it worked for him and he was happy with it. So who's to say? People have unique situations that they have advantages and disadvantages of. So you should use the things that you have advantages of if you want to make something with no money.
And if someone's not in film school, where can they sort of find other filmmakers to just volunteer to get their feet wet?
That's why I think if you work on other people's films, then you meet people that way, right? So even if you PA on a film, you're looking and clocking around saying, who's great at this? Who can I be friendly with and say, hey, by the way, I'm going to be making a short film soon. Would you be willing to come and do that? Also, there is, Craigslist or Mandy.com. There's places to also, like UCLA Extension has a website where their students can list that they're available to work on films. There's film organizations in Los Angeles. And again, I keep on speaking about Los Angeles because I'm from Los Angeles, but I'm sure in whatever city you're in, there's a film society or film organization. The other big tip that I love is if you have a film festival in your city, volunteer to work at that film festival because you're meeting other people who love film and want to be involved in film. So not only might you meet people who come into the film festival, but you'll meet other volunteers who I guarantee you would be happy to work on your film because they too have the same sensibility you have. They want to be making these films. They love films. So that's the number one tip that I love is volunteer at a film festival in your local hometown or a film society and meet people who have similar interests and get them to work on your film.
How often do you hear of a short film costing, let's say, $70 million?
Well, animation, Pixar makes these short films. I don't think they're $70 million, but they're done properly through Pixar, where nobody's working for free on those. So I don't know what the budgets are for those Pixar shorts, but they're not done for 5 cents. Those are expensive short films. Also, when you see the films that are nominated for Academy Award for Best Live Action, it's very rarely U.S. filmmakers. It's usually filmmakers from other countries because their countries actually support their filmmakers and give them money so they can make high-quality films that feel like big old feature films that just happen to be 12 minutes long. Also, the Academy loves a short film that's long. But, like a 25-minute long film that feels super expensive and like a feature film is totally, and is big and important and dramatic. That's totally Academy catnip. And it's usually made by a filmmaker in a country where that country gives them money to make the film. So it might not be millions, but it's well funded. And so it's very hard for a little, US-based filmmaker where the government won't give you any money, where there's no grants, there's no, basically, you're either kickstarting to raise some money, or you have wealthy relatives who are willing to give you money, or you're paying for it yourself. And, there's always that rule for feature films, like never put your own money into it. But I'm like, in shorts, you're putting your own time and your own money. And even if it's not your own money, your own time. If you calculated how much time you're putting into this that you could be spending earning money for that hours, it's like, that's thousands upon thousands of dollars that you've contributed.
And in some ways, it might be best to put your own money, whether you're paying from your waiting tables job or whatever it is, because you're going to learn lessons faster.
And you can control it. The phrase I always use is, you are the studio. When you're making a short film, you are like a studio in that you get to decide what you want to greenlight and invest in, and you have to take it all the way from commissioning the script to releasing it out into the world. So, some studios can get away with, like, they don't have any money and they're going to do it totally cheap. But, there's a lot of famous actors that make short films, or like screenwriters. Those people have money. And so you can't expect people to work for free for it. And people aren't expecting the films that they make to be shot on an iPhone, super cheapo kind of thing. When you see a famous actor who's directed a short film, those are properly funded. And again, they got money to burn. I'm sure they put their own money into it. And they don't do it for, 2 cents on the iPhone. And they shouldn't. That's not what people are expecting from them. And, if somebody famous were to ask me to work on their film for free, I'd be like, no. I would obviously love to work with you. You're super famous and it would help my career to be working with you. But you also have a ton of money. I'm meeting you at your Malibu mansion and you're asking me and my little Toyota to come and work for you for free? No.
That's actually a film idea. There you go.
We're making film ideas all the time.
Yeah, you're pulling up to the gates. The car stalls. Movie starts. Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Should a filmmaker expect to make money from their short film?
So the thing about short films is there's really no money in short films. What you're investing in is you're launching yourself as a filmmaker, and that film will hopefully will launch you as a filmmaker and hopefully get you other work. So you need to think of it as an investment in yourself. And that's where the calling card kind of aspect happens, that like, I've created this to show you this is what my talent is. And therefore, hopefully you will hire me and pay me money to move on to do the next thing. So even though they didn't give you cash, like here's $20 million for your short film, they actually gave you $20 million to write a feature or something of that sort. So you can make money that way. It's by launching yourself. But actual shorts themselves sometimes do make money. There are still a few places that will pay for license a short film. The problem is, so it used to be called interstitial programming, where movie channels like used to have a feature that runs short and they need to put something else on before the hour starts up again. And that's the short films I made for Fox, were for a cable channel that used them that way. You had 20 minutes you had to pad, and so let's put some short films in there, and that way we padded the time. HBO used to pay money for short films to use it in that way. But now people, all they do is they'd rather make a little featurette about a TV show to convince you to watch that TV show and fill up the time that way. So domestically, there isn't a market so much for it anymore, but PBS still occasionally pays for short films. Yay, PBS. And when I say pay for, they're licensing it. They're licensing your short film to air in a certain way in a certain market for a certain time. They're not buying it outright. There are some markets foreign that also still pay for films, sometimes to be used on TV interstitially, sometimes to be used in other ways. Airlines, sometimes short films. It used to be too like, oh, my short film's going to be on iTunes or Amazon and people are going to pay me for that. And some are, the Academy Award shorts, by the way, are their own category, that those actually get put in movie theaters and people pay money to see the Academy Award nominated short films, which makes me so happy. And that's for features, and they put the animated shorts out that way. They put the live action shorts out that way, and the documentary. And people pay money to see them in theater. It's like, it proves people are interested. They want to see these films that the Academy has said are worthy and of value. And those films do make money for the filmmakers. So there are cases, like weird ways that sometimes films do make money and make their money back. But that's a unicorn. Most times you just got to go in the understanding of Sorry, the other way you can earn money is at festivals. Sometimes there's money prizes at festivals. So I know of many filmmakers who have won more as festival prizes than they actually put into making their film. So they made a profit that way from their festival prizes. So, another reason to do festivals is there is a category for short films and you can be a prize winner that way. So sometimes there are ways to make money. The funny thing too is like later on, if you become famous, we're very interested in famous people's short films. So they might be interested in your film that way once you become famous, or maybe you really luck out and somebody's starring in your film that becomes famous later on. And then there's interested in, but what would stop you from making money from your short film is if you didn't do everything right. If you didn't get all the cast sign release forms giving you the rights to their performances, if you didn't do deal memos so that they're afraid that some crew member will come back and sue you when all of a sudden you're making money, if you have music in it, or not even music, but artwork or clips of other films that you don't have the rights to, that at the time you're like, what the hell, it serves my artistic vision and it makes it great. But somebody's saying, hey, I can give you money, but you have to have all these things cleared. You have to buy errors and admission insurance, which stops people from suing you. It doesn't stop people from suing you, it protects people when they're being sued. And that costs money too. So there's a lot of, sometimes, and then there's SAG payments that change when you actually sell your film. So sometimes there's other reasons why you can't sell your film, even if somebody were to offer you the money for the film. But sometimes it's also laughable. It's like, hey, somebody in Poland wants to license your film for $13. It's like, is it worth everybody's headache to do all that paperwork to get your film licensed for $13?
And is it also too, let's say, like brands, like if you
have in the same way if you were trying to learn how to do it right for the feature film, you should do all that right for the short film so that you don't have issues. But it's like if somebody in your short film is drinking Coca-Cola, but they're not like a murderer or something like that, they're just accidentally drinking Coca-Cola. Nobody's going to stop your film being distributed, being like, you didn't clear the rights for Coca-Cola. It's not that big of a deal. It would be more if the killer clown kills everybody with the Coca-Cola can, then there could be an issue that Coca-Cola would not approve of that use of their can in that way.
What if it's you have a scene where there's like a couple at the table and there's a replica of a Renoir in the background?
Right.
Is that someone still needs to clear the rights for that?
Yeah, they do, definitely. And that's always kind of surprising. The other thing I heard about recently that I never even thought about was tattoos. That the tattoo artist has created original artwork. So if it's the real tattoo and you're using it in a very obvious way in the film, it isn't just like they're walking and they happen to have tattoos down their arms, but there's a big part of the film that focuses on this tattoo. You have to get that cleared from the tattoo artist who created that as original artwork.
Wow,
yeah.
That's new and sort of a new...
Well, new to me. It was explained to me and I was like, I never even thought about tattoos. Wow. Okay, but that is original artwork too.
Well, you can get temporary ones.
Exactly. But whoever designed that temporary one, you
true.
need to get them to sign to say that they gave you permission to use their artwork for.
Wow.
I know, crazy, isn't it?
Wow, that's fascinating to know that.
Again, everybody, is creating something artistically. So, what I always say, so documentary, there's a lot more leeway because they're capturing real life. But for narrative filmmakers, the argument is you are creating a fictional world in which you've touched everything in that and have decided everything's in there for a reason. So if you've chosen to have this Renoir in the background, then there's a reason that you've done that, and then you should appropriately pay everybody. If not, take the Renoir out, get a cleared artwork, or just go in the back and scribble it yourself and put something else in there because you've chosen all of that.
Sure. Yeah, just a couple of brush strokes and just pretend it's some kind of modern art piece.
There you go, it's done. And often Greeking is what they call it when you put like tape over something so it looks different or changes it out something. Or, we often say, because you often have crew members be your cast and be your extras or whatever, you just really want to watch their clothes because often crew members are wearing like a Panavision t-shirt. I'm like, could you turn your t-shirt inside out? Could you take, Major League Baseball or any kind of major sports thing, they all want money. So you don't want somebody with a Yankees cap or you don't want somebody with an NFL branded Dodgers, whatever, all that is protected and you can't do. And again, I'm based in Los Angeles, so I will of course say Dodgers or whatever, but the Hollywood sign is also something that's protected. And so you have to pay for the use to use the Hollywood sign. And you can't just be like, who's in the background? It's like, well, pick a different shot so it's not in the background. But they want money, they know about it, and they also actively screen to look for it if you've used it and they will come after you.